of physical geography. This video is about the chapter 1, geography as a discipline. So why do we need to study geography? Since we live on planet Earth, it is important to know the physical environment of the Earth. It is almost like knowing our own surroundings. As dramatic it may sound, our lives are affected by our surroundings in many ways. If you see, everything around us came from natural resources like plants, animals, minerals, soil and water. There was a time when people only ate edible plants and animals to survive. As time went by, human beings developed technologies and that gave birth to food industry. So you see how our food habits changed over time. And same goes for clothes as well. So this is what geography teaches us as to how human society as well as the earth developed gradually with time. So geography as a discipline helps us in understanding the changes which have taken place over time. So now the question is, what is the meaning of geography? In simple terms, geography means the study of earth. It's the earth that we are trying to study. Try to understand this. On earth we have two important components. First, it is the physical features like mountains, hills, valleys, plains, plateaus, oceans, lakes, deserts and wilderness. And then we have human beings. I mean, without humans, Earth would be like any other planet. Now in human society, we have variations in terms of social and cultural form. We have people belonging to different community, different background with different beliefs. So it is really interesting to see the relationship between the physical environment and social or cultural features. From poetic point of view, we can say physical environment is like a stage and human societies are the actors performing. Now try to relate this. You go to different places, you witness new culture, new social values, and that can be seen through the architectural style, food, rituals, customs, human behavior, etc. So all these creative skills were invented by people on the landform over a long period of time. So this is what geography helps us in understanding the relationship between the physical aspect and the human aspect of the earth. The term geography was first coined by Eratosthenes, a Greek scholar. Geo means earth and graphos means description. So it is the description of earth that we are trying to understand in geography. Now geography has many disciplines like natural science and social science. Under natural sciences we have geology, pedology, oceanography, botany, zoology, meteorology, etc. And under social science we have economics, history, sociology, political science, anthropology, etc. These all disciplines study different
बूबू भूख लगी है
aspects of the earth. Now one of the important work of a geographer is not just to study the variation in the physical feature of the earth, but also to understand the association with other factors like what causes these variations. For example, cropping patterns differ from region to region, but we also know it is closely related to factors like soil, climate, demands in the market, investment and technological availability. So you see the correlation between two phenomena. And one more important point that you need to understand is that these geographical phenomena are not static, they are dynamic, meaning they change over time. Human society is growing and changing rapidly, and so is the physical landform. The early human society, we call them primitive society. They were directly dependent on the nature for food, clothing and shelter. And if you see now, the present society is inventing new technology to utilize natural resources. One good example would be with the creation of big machines, physical environment can be modified by humans, which was extremely difficult once upon a time. Therefore, we can say technology brought freedom. It helped in reducing the harshness of labor, increased labor efficiency, and provided leisure to human beings to attend to the higher need of life. With so much of development around, we now find humanized nature and naturalized human beings. Remember this term. It means humans have converted the environment totally the way they want it, with the help of their natural creativity and thought process. Now it brings us to a point where we will discuss geography as a discipline, which is concerned with three sets of questions, and they are basically what, where and why. The standard three questions that you will find in everything. So by what we mean that what is the relationship between the natural features and cultural features found on earth? In simple terms, what is the relationship between human and land? So all those sort of questions falls under this category. Then we have where. By where we mean where are these variations seen on Earth? We are talking about the distribution pattern of human culture, society on Earth. Because when we see a particular place with a lot of population, it immediately speaks a lot about not just the human aspect, but also the land aspect of that place. And it's a known fact that most of the population resides in plain areas rather than rough, hilly terrain. So those sort of questions fall in this category. And finally, we have the why question, which answers the cause and relationship between natural and human features. One example would be why we find a particular place with high and another place with low population. So that sort of question falls under this category. So if you see, all these three questions answer the dynamic interaction between human beings and their physical environment. Now we're going to read about geography as an integrating discipline. Always remember, the meaning of the word integrating is bringing together, joining, combining. And if you see, geography does that work pretty smoothly. It sees the world as one giant global village. Because in geography, we get to read about so many things like distances, routes, transportation, technology and communication, then economy, population, etc. So geography integrates with all these separate disciplines and helps us in understanding the world as if it was one single entity. And if you look at your geography textbook, we have chapters dedicated to every single topics that I just mentioned. And by having a fair knowledge about all these topics, it will be easier to integrate them and understand the earth as a single entity, which is what geography is helping us in doing it. I hope you're getting what I mean. Now another important aspect of geography is time. Time is an integral part of geographical studies. And the reason we say that is because every geographical phenomenon undergoes change through time and can be explained temporarily. So if you see, the environment around us is constantly changing. So here I'm talking about the physical features like landform, climate, vegetation, economic activities, occupation. So if you see, these all are changing with respect to time. So you need to think of it this way: when things are changing at such a drastic rate, there has to be some yardstick, right, in order to measure how much the change has occurred. These are some decisions that are made by institutions, because if there is no institution, then there will be no yardstick, then there will be no rule or regulation that needs to be followed universally. So a simple example from this book we can see is that we can say that a place A is 1500 kilometer away from place B. Now this is purely based on a distance. Like, yes, you know what the distance between place A and place B is, but it can also be said in a different way. You can say it in terms of time. You can say that this distance can be covered over a course of 2 hours, or these two places are 2 hours away. So what you see over here is that time has been used as a yardstick to measure distance. Therefore, time is very important in understanding any geographical phenomenon. Now we are going to read about physical geography and natural sciences. So remember, the meaning of natural science is related to physical features, and then there is another one which is called social science, which is related to economics, population and all those sort of things. So under this topic we are going to purely read about all the natural activities, environmental activities that has taken place over the course of long time. So when we say physical geography, we are talking about physical features of Earth, and we also know that these are pretty much linked with other disciplines like geology, meteorology, hydrology and pedology. So for those of you who don't know about all these single terms, let me just quickly give you a brief description. Geology means the study of landforms, how land is responding, how the surface of Earth is behaving constantly. And then we have meteorology. Meteorology deals with climate, and hydrology deals with water, ocean bodies. And then we have pedology. Pedology deals with soil. And these all have a very close link with natural sciences. So again, always remember, whenever there is a term called natural sciences, always remember this is talking about the physical aspect of the earth. And then there is another term called biogeography. This is closely related to botany, which is study of plants, and then we have zoology, which is study of animals. And both plants and animals are part of nature, therefore we definitely count them under natural sciences. So one need to have a fair amount of information related to all these disciplines in order to be a successful geographer. However, a geographer should also be proficient in mathematics and arts. Now, why do we need that? We need that to draw maps, because maps are very important when it comes to geography. And then maps have strong relationship with latitudes and longitudes, which deals with basically numbers. And that's how mathematics and art comes into play. So now we're going to talk about geography and social sciences. So when we say social sciences, we are talking about the cultural and the social aspect of human society. And again, this topic is also equally important because when we are trying to understand geography as a whole subject, then understanding social as well as the natural science is equally important. Now, the kind of disciplines that falls under social sciences are sociology, which studies the classification of human societies. Then we have political science. So this helps us in studying the government and the states and other political units. Then we have economics, which deals with the production and distribution and consumption of goods and services and their management. And then we have demography, which studies the characteristics of human population. So all these different aspects, or rather I would say different disciplines, helps us in understanding the geography being a part of social science. Now, why is it important to understand all these different disciplines? So there is an importance which is associated with it in terms of understanding the territory, people, and the sovereignty of a particular place. So we know that the earth is now divided into small states, countries, and continents, and all these places has its own preferences. So to understand all of this, it is very important to understand all these different disciplines. Now if you look at this picture, wait a second, this picture, I need to straighten it up. Okay, now it's good now. So here's a picture in which you can see the geography and its relation with other subjects. So at the center you have this earth, and then these are the other disciplines that is directly, sometimes indirectly associated with geography. So we have read about all these topics previously in this chapter, and I have also explained you what they stand for, what their expertise is. So probably we'll read about all these topics individually, in depth about it, as we go forward and complete this class 11th NCERT geography. Now this brings us to a new topic, that is branches of geography. So basically all the discipline that you saw in the previous picture, those are nothing but the branches of geography, because geography is an interdisciplinary subject to study. So this kind of approach was introduced by this person named as Alexander von Humboldt, a German geographer, because he understood it clearly that to understand geography we have to consider both the aspect, the natural side of it, which are the land features and the landforms and all those sort of things, and then the social aspect of it, that is the human population, economics, politics. So if you were to understand geography as a whole, you need to learn all these interdisciplinary subject which is associated with geography. So again, you'll hear this term a lot, which is dualism. So dualism is one of the main characteristics of geography. So when we say dualism, we are actually referring to two theories. So one theory says that let's just only talk about physical geography, that's it. Meaning let's just understand the earth, the landform, the ocean, the climate, that's it. There is nothing else that needs any more importance. And then there is another theory which says no, human beings are integral part of the earth's surface, which again holds a lot of weight. You cannot eradicate the fact that human beings are not to be studied, because as it's well said that they are part and parcel of nature. So whenever you hear about this term dualism in geography, just immediately recollect these two theories. One is related to the physical aspect, that is the physical geography, and the other is related to the human aspect, that is human geography. So here are all the branches of geography in a systematic approach. So at first we have the physical geography, under that we have geomorphology, climatology, hydrology, soil geography, etc. And then we have the human geography, under that we have the social, population, economic, and the historical aspect. So we're going to read about all these topics in depth, all these chapters going forward in this textbook. So for now, just quickly have a quick glance on them. So again, we have a picture that depicts the branches of geography. So you have the physical, then you have the human on this side. Let me just draw that. So this is the physical aspect of geography, and here is the human aspect of geography. Now there is this another branch called biogeography. So in this, we are basically talking about plant and animal geography. So in other words, we call it as botany and zoology. Now the interesting part about this is that biogeography lies in between physical and human geography. It's like an interface. And one of the reasons that you can think of it is plants and animals are both important aspect for human, because it provides food, and it is also an important aspect of the earth because planet earth is capable of creating such species and such kind of plant and animal species, which is what makes earth different from other planet. So that's why this topic biogeography is like an interface between human and physical geography. So as I said that under biogeography we have plant geography where we study the pattern of natural vegetation, plants, and then we have zoology or zoo geography, which studies the pattern and geographic characteristics of animals. And then we have ecosystem or ecology as well as the environmental geography. This all falls under biogeography. So again, we'll talk about all of this as we move forward in this textbook. So for now, just have a look at it. Now we go to the last topic of this chapter, physical geography and its importance. So again, just a refresher. When we hear the words physical geography, we are dealing with the physical features of the earth like lithosphere, which is also called the landform. Then we have hydrosphere, which is the water bodies. Then we have meteorology or atmosphere, which is the climate, temperature and weather part. And then we have biosphere, which includes all life forms including human being and microorganisms. So all these things together make up physical geography. You see, all these phenomena is very crucial for the survival of any organism on the earth. It is like a sustaining mechanism, and with the help of technology, human beings have learned the art of harnessing these natural resources to the best of its use. Hence, we can also say that the study of physical geography is emerging as a discipline of evaluating and managing natural resources and human beings, and that is what geography helps us in learning. With this, we have come to an end of this chapter. I hope you have found this video informative. Don't forget to